What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Talk Talk Punch, the place where we talk about all those nerdy things you love talking about. Thanks so much for joining us. While you're here, make sure you go ahead and hit the like and subscribe buttons, as well as that notification bell, so that you will be notified whenever a new episode comes out every Wednesday at noon to see what we're talking about. Kind of like this week's topic, we are ranking our top 10 80s action movies, some of our favorites.
Whoop, whoop. I
am Brody Hanson, joined as always by Charlie Hickman. Charlie Hickman, how's it going?
Not too bad. Not too bad. I'm gonna blow your mind here a little bit, Brody.
Okay.
So we are gathered here in the year 2021.
Yes.
To discuss movies that were made in the 1980s.
Oh yes.
And I was thinking,
love it,
that if people in the 1980s gathered to talk about an equivalent 40 years before they would be getting together to talk about movies that were made in the 1940s.
Oh, don't put it like that, Charlie.
So that's essentially what we're doing today. We are gathering, as our parents would have, to discuss the great films of the 1940s, all the action, all the hot topics. Austin Powers went back in time from the 90s to the 60s. If that movie was made today, he'd be going back in time to the 90s, Brody. We've gone full circle.
Would it really?
Old men.
Oh,
yeah, because 30 years, right? I've been thinking a lot about the numbers. If in 30 years we're still doing this, we can talk about 40 years ago, all those Marvel movies that came out in the 2010s. You remember Iron Man? Yeah, that was great. 40 years ago, that was awesome. So that's exciting.
I mean, some of my stuff came out in the late 80s.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, still like 30
some
years. Some of my stuff came out in 1949. So, really, how old am I?
Oh man.
But yeah, it's bad, bro. It's bad. We're getting old, bro.
Oh, well, yeah, when you put it like that, that's an interesting way to look at it.
So in preparation, because I know I was excited about this list, in preparation, I was playing some Broforce this week.
Broforce? What is Broforce?
Have you never played Broforce?
I've never even heard of Broforce.
All right, so do yourself a favor. Okay. If you're like, say, Brody or anyone out there who is a fan of 80s action or just action in general, and you like video games, it is a very fun little pixelated throwback kind of side-scrolling action shooter.
Like Contra?
Shoot 'em up. A little bit like Contra.
Okay.
But with very tongue-in-cheek. So I'm going to give you a name of a Broforce character, and you're going to tell me which character they are parroting. I'll give you some easy ones to start.
Okay.
Rambro.
Rambo.
Very good. Bromando.
Commando.
Hey, you're all right. You're on a roll. Okay. Snake Broskin.
Ooh, Snake Plissken.
Brobocop.
Oh, one of my favorites, RoboCop.
The
Surprise to nobody. Surprise to nobody.
Yeah, right. You've never heard of this RoboCop. The Brominator.
Oh, the Terminator.
All right. Bronan the Brobarian.
Oh, Conan the Barbarian.
There you go. Ellen Ripbro.
Ooh, Ellen Ripley.
Right. Broniversal Soldier.
The Universal Soldier.
There you go. All right. Let's get you some hard ones here.
Oh, man.
Brochetti.
Machete.
All right. I didn't know if you know that one or not. All right. Fine. The Brolander.
Oh, the Highlander.
Hey, okay. The Professional.
The Professional.
No, I can't stump you. Mr. Anderbro.
Mr. Anderson?
Yeah, all right. Anyway, you get the idea. And then so the Indiana Brones and Bro Dread and Mick Brover and Bro Hard. And it's just all these kind of parodies on these action characters, and it's pretty great. It is mindless blowing of things up. And it is on PS Now if you are a subscriber to the PS Now. So it is, and we can play multiplayer online up to 4 players. So if you'd like to join us for a game of Broforce, let us know. We're in.
Yeah, maybe I'll have to pick that up, and then that can be our first Twitch live stream. The Talk Punch Twitch live stream of Broforce.
Oh, the Broforce. It's really fun. I think you'll get a kick at it.
I can't wait because I love action movies. I love them. I can't wait to talk about them. These are like some of my
favorite. You came to the right place.
Oh my goodness. Let's talk about 80s action movies, Charlie.
Woo! Let's do it. 1940s. Right. Here we go.
1940s. All right. Number 10. I believe I am up first.
Oh, you're up first?
I
Okay.
believe so. Now,
Any methodology, anything you need to explain to the people before? Or are
okay,
you good?
so going through this list, I found that there were a fair amount of movies that I tend to talk about a lot. And so when going through this list, I tried to really put together like 80s action movies that really kind of embodied the 80s action movie, if that makes
All
any
right.
sense. Like it can be so ingrained, like watching something that is so obviously an 80s action movie. You know,
Sure.
you watch movies that are timeless and you say like, oh, you can watch this at any time. I think when going through this, I was really like, okay, what is a movie that I can watch that you just watch it and you're like, oh man, this is from the 80s and I love it. That's kind of the mindset that I got into when I was building this list.
Gotcha.
How about you?
Yeah, look, this my background here that I chose is just a series of 80s characters in a various, various films, and some of them you could certainly argue are easier slid into that action category. I wouldn't necessarily put Doc Brown or Back to the Future into my action category here. At least I didn't for this list, and I stayed away from Star Wars. I
Sure.
just it would have I didn't want to have a Star Wars to the top because it would have been two Star Wars movies, 1 and 2, and
Yeah,
that would have knocked some of these other movies out of my list that I want to talk about tonight. So
sure.
I'm excited to kind of go through that. I may have had a little looser time with this than you. I didn't put as tight a restriction on feeling just like some timeless 80s piece of nostalgia, but certainly there is some of that reflected in here. And as always, things that are personal made the list. Stuff that it's right in here, bro, right in the heart.
Yeah. No, and I had a lot of fun making this list. There were
Yeah,
some
it's hard.
stuff. There was some stuff like Star Wars and Back to the Future that I felt strayed a little bit more into other genres than action.
Sure.
Like there's the adventure. There's action adventure. Then there's the ones that kind of lean a bit more into the adventure than the action. And so I tried to go hard on the action, Charlie.
Hey, you always do. Hard on the action.
All right, so my number 10. Oh boy. Oh boy. It's Commando.
Number 10.
It's Commando. Now
It's Bromando.
it's Bromando. That's right. Now I watched this movie. I watched this movie so much as a kid. I haven't watched it in a long time. Just as a kid, watching Arnold just take people out left and right, and he's shooting people and he's stabbing people and he's throwing circular saws at people's heads and slicing off part of their head. Oh man, it's great. I love it. I loved it as a kid. I love it now. I should watch it. Haven't, like I said, haven't in,
You
in a long
probably
time.
shouldn't.
I probably shouldn't. But this one just holds really, really strong memories.
Give us the line, bro. Give us the line.
Which one?
Come on. The line, bro. Come on.
Which line?
Get to the chopper.
Was that in this movie?
Yeah.
Oh. I thought you were talking about where he threw the pipe at the bad guy and it went in. Oh, what did he say? Oh man. You're let off some steam. Cuz that's just like there was like a bunch of air going on.
Wait. Get to the chopper was Predator. Wait, no. Predator. Predators get to the chopper. Never mind.
Predators get to the chopper.
Can I be honest with you right now, Brody?
What?
I don't think I've ever seen Commando.
What?
I think I have blurred this movie into like several different Schwarzenegger films and like just brewed it into a little pot of my memory. They're like, oh yeah, I've seen that, and then, but really all I have are memories from other Schwarzenegger films that are pieced together.
Okay.
I don't know that I've ever seen Commando.
Oh, it's a great one, Charlie. You should watch it.
Okay, all right.
It's like a typical action movie. Something happens and he's got to go fight the bad guys. And that's it.
Hey,
and he just kills people.
You watch my number 10, I'll watch your number 10.
Oh, man. So I love this one. Commando, Arnold Schwarzenegger. Hint, hint. Not the last time you'll see this gentleman on my list.
Wow. Spoilers being alerted. All right. Okay.
All right. You're number 10, Charlie.
My number 10. These plucky little young fellas in a shoot 'em up western.
Is that a poster, Charlie? You got it. That's a drawing. That's not a poster.
What are you talking about? That's the official movie poster. And if this upsets you, you're in for a long night.
All right.
Look at these handsome young faces back here. Look, Young Guns was my childhood western. And my family did not watch a lot of westerns, if any, that I remember. You've met my parents. That's not necessarily a genre that they were like them. Super into.
Yeah.
I guess maybe the closest I came was the space western, operetta, Star Wars, whatever. People call it so many different genres online. But anyway, this movie was a lot of fun for me as a kid. Now, we were not allowed to play with guns in my house, and so I didn't have any guns. So after I saw Young Guns, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I would play often with my action figures or even just with my own person. Like, I like Doc because he's just my favorite character. Doc and Chavez, these two guys right here. So I would find things around the house like this exact banana. And I would use this as a gun. Now I know what you're thinking. How would you know that it was this exact banana? And I'll tell you, Brody, funny story. Whether it was this banana or like some broomsticks or branches from the yard, I would use these. And I had bunk beds that I didn't have anyone to share a bunk with. So I was alone. So I would use the top bunk for imagination play. And every time we talk about my childhood, I feel like I admit that I was more and more of a loser. Whether it was the solo games of Monopoly that I would play or the bunk beds with no bunkmate. But anyway, so I'd go on the top bunk and I'd hide behind the rails and I'd reach over with my banana gun and fire it. So the reason I know it was this banana is because it disappeared one day, and I don't know what happened to it. And we were recently helping my mom clean out her garage during the quarantine and found this in some adult papers, old tax documents and stuff. And my mom's like, oh my gosh, I took that from you because you used to use it as a gun. So I've recently been reunited with my Billy the Kid, my banana gun. Are you scared, Brody? What are you, yellow? It's a very appealing gun. Young Guns was a lot of fun, and I put this on specifically because did you know they're going to make a Young Guns 3
with the same cast?
So Young Guns 2 was a disaster.
You can't call it Young Guns then.
Well, they're old guns now.
They're not Young Guns at all. I mean,
they're just gonna call it Guns, Brody. Just Guns. Guns 3, but it's gonna I'm excited. This is a guilty pleasure of mine. I think it's a lot of fun. And I think that if you haven't seen it, Bro, have you seen this movie?
I believe I watched it with you 20 years ago.
That sounds about right. It's not a great movie, but it's fun and it's a lot of action, a lot of if you like westerns. Sure. So anyway, so you're gonna need to watch this, but skip 2. But watch this in anticipation of a confirmed. We're going to call it Guns 3. Guns 3.
If they call it Young Guns, I don't know, man.
I'm telling you, it's Guns 3. Right. Look it up. Google it.
All right.
Little
side note. Do you remember when we tried to convince your mom to buy us bunk beds? When we were in our late teens, early 20s?
Oh, man, that would have been so cool. Having a bunk bed with someone occupying the other bunk?
She didn't bite on that. Brody. She didn't bite on that. I don't know why.
She did not bite on that. I don't know. I think she bunk beds are for one person, Brody. That's why.
Oh, man. All right. So, my number 9. What is it? I don't even know.
What is it?
I don't know.
That you never
it's so
remember.
Exciting. Die Hard. So I know we've talked.
Number 9?
We've talked about
no. This is higher on my list, so just ignore it.
All right.
Number 9? Oh man. All right. That's fine. I'll give you an opportunity to defend that low rating later on.
All right. Well, how about your number 9 then?
That is a low rating. Number 9. Are you kidding me right now? Okay. All right.
Now, this is Escape from New York, right?
This is Escape from New York, not to be confused with Escape from LA,
no,
which was a 90s film.
Now I have this higher on my list. Oh,
you do?
just pulled out the prop.
Well, then I'm taking... Now, why is Charlie using props today? Well, we got a comment from Carrot Top 69 that we don't use enough props in this show. So tonight I tried to work in a few props, and I will, over the next few shows that we do, attempt to make props a real focal point of what we do here. So this is for you, CT.
Yeah, and
we'll talk about this one later. Okay.
Our content manager did give me a little heads up that you and I did have a couple crossovers on this. So apparently,
all right. So we had four of the same. Is that what we're expecting tonight?
4 crossovers.
All right, we got 2 of them out of the way.
So whenever we come across one that we've got a crossover, we're just going to save it for the person that's got it higher on their list, and that way we can talk about it together, because that's what we're good at. It's just talking. Talk, punch.
You're a wise man.
All right. Number 8, Conan the Barbarian.
Bronan the Barbarian.
I told you wouldn't see the last of Arnold Schwarzenegger. This one's a great one. Charlie, when was the last time you saw this movie?
I was probably around 10, 12.
Oh my goodness, you got to watch it again.
It's been a while.
It's good. It holds up.
It's no Beastmaster.
It holds up. This is a great one. This is just Arnold in a loincloth running around the desert fighting James Earl Jones, who turns into a snake. Oh my goodness.
I do love James Earl Jones.
It's amazing. He's just got a big sword. He does cool sword stuff. He fights bad guys. It's amazing. This is like, I'm not even sure what else to say, but this is an amazing movie. I still love this movie. I just saw this here within the past couple years, and it's still amazing. I still love it. So, there you go. Also, it's got James Earl Jones, who turns into a snake. Come on now. Come on, Charlie. Come on. It's great.
It's great. I need to watch. I'll have next time we're together, we'll have a Schwarzenegger marathon.
Oh,
we could have done a top 10 Schwarzenegger list, bro.
You know what? That's a good idea. Maybe we'll do that, because I can absolutely make a top 10 Schwarzenegger list. Though it's gonna resemble this list a fair amount, so we'll give it some time. Maybe this will be like in a few months. We'll do top 10.
All right, there you go.
But yeah, so there's my number 10, Conan the Barbarian, not Conan the Destroyer. That one was weird.
That was weird.
It was really weird.
It might be part of the reason why I didn't revisit the first Conan is after seeing the second one. I was like,
It's a strange wizard.
Never again.
No, that's it. All right, so there's my number 8, Conan the Barbarian.
All right.
Charlie, you're number 8.
My number 8, Big Trouble in Little China.
Okay. Now, your reaction to Die Hard being so low on the list, I'm giving you the same reaction. This
is higher on your list.
This is way higher on my list, Charlie.
Okay.
I'm shocked it's number 8. You're wearing the T-shirt and you put it at your number 8?
I'm wearing the T-shirt.
Come on. All right. Well. Okay.
I'll defend myself later.
Okay. So this is our 3rd crossover. So hopefully we'll settle down a little bit here soon.
I'm going so fast through mine. This is great.
We're 20 minutes into this and we're already at number 7.
We're cruising tonight.
It's like a record for us, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Just sad we can't get to the 5th element.
Just wait for our 90s. It's our 90s list.
All right. I always look for T-shirts to wear for these podcasts.
Yeah.
And I went through a big T-shirt collecting phase, and a lot of that includes just these Fury.com plug. Feel free to sponsor us. Or shirt.woot, grab bags where I wouldn't know it was coming. So I just have hundreds of T-shirts over the years that I've accumulated, and I couldn't find any of my good T-shirts. So I'm like, Amy, where's my red? I couldn't find any red shirts. And I knew I had this shirt somewhere. I just hadn't seen it in years. And she's like, oh, they're in the bins. I'm like, bins? What bins? So I opened there's bins in the garage, but there's 2 bins full of shirts. I didn't know they existed. 2 bins worth of shirts. So many good shirts that I would have worn for podcasts where I'm struggling to find a good shirt to match our theme, and I ended up just kind of phoning it in a little bit with something that kind of works. No longer, Brody. No longer. Bins. Man. I found a Fifth Element shirt, Brody.
What?
I got a Fifth Element shirt from a grab bag.
Oh my
and I've had no reason to ever wear it, because you'll see someday when I wear it for the podcast, not necessarily the kind of shirt you want to wear out in public, but for a podcast that talks about the Fifth Element as much as we do, it's the perfect shirt.
I can't wait to see it.
I'm very excited.
I can't wait. Well,
very excited to find my bins.
I'm excited. Yeah, they've just been sitting in the bins. How long have they been in there, you think?
Oh, judging by the mustiness, I'd say it's been a little while. But we're releasing them. We're releasing the shirt.
I can't wait. All right, my number 7. Oh, okay. Here's Escape from New York. So.
Oh well, we didn't have to wait very long for this one.
No,
right.
we didn't. Okay, so I remember seeing this. I remember seeing this at a young age, probably too young. You can go
made
see
in 81, so.
Yeah. You can go see our top 10 movies we saw too young. Is that out yet? Scratch that. I don't know if that's out yet.
Maybe
be on the lookout for a top 10 list of movies we saw too young. Unless it's out. Okay. I can't remember. I don't know. This wasn't on that list anyways. So forget everything I just said.
You're the master of the segue, Brody. The master of the segue.
But this is a great movie. It, 1997. Man, New York is just a prison. And they send in who? Yeah. Snake Plissken. Man, Kurt Russell.
How funny was it that 1997 is when this movie was supposed to be taking place?
It's wild, right? We were hanging out in 1997.
I know, right? And I don't remember any jails. By the way, eye patches, not comfortable. I read during filming that Kurt Russell would constantly have to take his off because of kept messing with his depth perception, which makes perfect sense. How am I doing, bro?
You're nailing it, man. So
right,
so this is a great movie. Snake Plissken, he's like the bad guy, good guy, bad guy who's got to go in and retrieve a person.
Is that the greatest character name in the history of cinema?
Oh, it's so good. Snake Plissken.
I feel like it might be.
Snake, I don't know who came up with it, but man, it's a great name. It's a great name. And so there's shootouts, there's car chases, there's all this stuff as he's trying to retrieve. It's the president, right? He has to retrieve the president because Air Force One crashed in this maximum security prison. And so
because apparently there's only one place where they keep all of the criminals, and for whatever reason, his plane was flying near it.
Flies right over it. No fly zone? I don't know. It's Air Force One. Why not? It goes where it wants.
Why not?
But yeah, so this is a great one. It's a great one. I do agree. Not to be confused with Escape from Los Angeles, which was not a good movie.
I wouldn't say not a good movie, but not as good. The surfing scene's a little over the top, but so bad. Look, the pacing on this is maybe not what you would expect from it's maybe a little slower than if you were watching this for the first time in the year 2021, 40 years after it was made. 40 years, Brody. It's maybe a little bit more like we were talking about with Justice League, where it's a lot of tone and that there's a lot of this thematic element that if you're into it, it will suck you into the universe and the pacing won't bother you. Sure. But if you're not the B movie nature of it, the style of it, the tone of it, John Carpenter, by the way, fantastic. Love me some old school Carpenter, and his music is always good. Yeah. His most recognizable might be the Halloween theme, but I gotta take off the pad. But it's so good so I like the tone of this movie. I think Kurt Russell's been quoted as saying this is his favorite character that he's ever played. Oh, really? This is the basis for which Metal Gear Solid Snake was made. If you're a fan of the Metal Gear, Hideo Kojima said that this was a big influence in him, and that's where you get the snake. So I mean, it's a very influential movie, and it's really cool. Not for everyone. I can understand why people might not want to watch this 40 years after it was made, or might be bored by it, or might just not be enchanted by it. But man, it was a really fun movie when I was a kid, and I think that for me, just from a nostalgia, it has kept this movie as something that I can revisit and still enjoy even all these years later.
Totally. Totally agree.
And this is on my list instead. Like I put two John Carpenters. I couldn't put They Live on my list. I had that on a different list, but I could have probably filled up a John Carpenter list too. So
I thought about
John
They
Carpenter,
Live.
James Cameron list. Just made it all one.
Yeah, right. Now you said this was 81.
81.
So this movie is 40 years old.
This movie is 40 years old.
Oh my gosh. That blows my mind.
Blows my mind.
Oh. But yeah. So there you go. There is my number 7.
There you go.
Escape from New York. Charlie, your number 7. Beverly Hills Cop.
Beverly Hills Cop.
Is that 2?
Now look.
No, that's just a P.
This is the first one.
I was looking
Now
at
the second one was fine, but I think the first one's better. I've talked to this was also featured on that episode that may or may not be out of movies we saw too young. I have talked about Beverly Hills Cop before. I think it's probably one of my just favorite Eddie Murphy films in general.
Okay.
And I think it was really like great genre defining, cop humor movie. But tonight I don't want to talk about any of that. Tonight I want to talk about this. In the commentary of this movie, it is stated that Sylvester Stallone quit over the type of orange juice that was offered in his trailer.
Who did?
Because Sylvester Stallone was originally going to be this Axel Foley character.
Huh.
And so as the rumor goes, according to the DVD commentary, didn't like the orange juice and was like, I'm out. Was kind of diva about it. And now, if you believe that, that's fine. Sylvester Stallone has said that he quit because he was trying to rewrite the script to make it more serious. And he didn't think that the comedy elements, or that he could pull off being a fish out of water kind of in a comedy, like the people wouldn't believe that, it's Sylvester Stallone. No one's going to believe that I'm like a fish out of water. I'm like just, too tough and cop. No one's going to think about, So I don't know. But we got out of that, his rewrites ended up becoming the movie Cobra.
Okay.
So if you've seen the 80s action movie Cobra, which features my favorite, it's not on my list, but
it was almost on my
line
list. Almost.
From an 80s action film where he's in the supermarket and the bad guy's got a bunch of explosives and he's like, I'm going to blow this place up. And Stallone looks at him through his sunglasses, got toothpick, and he's like, go ahead. I don't shop here. and for whatever reason in that moment, Stallone is doing a Robert De Niro impression. Go ahead. I don't shop here. And so very, very straight. No. So we got two great films for the price. Well, okay, we got one great film, and we got Cobra for the price of orange juice.
I thought about putting Cobra on my list. I haven't seen it in probably longer than I've seen Commando, though. So
have you seen this movie? As I feel like I talk about this movie. I feel like you've never even mentioned a word about it. Did you just not like it, or have you just not seen it?
I don't know,
young man.
Okay, so I know that I own it on DVD.
Well, then watch it for crying out loud.
I don't know. It might be one of those. I can't like picture it in my head. I can picture the theme song, but I just
so great, right? Iconic.
I can't like place what the movie like is. So it might be like I start watching it and I'm like, oh, okay, now this is like clicking for me, or I just haven't seen it. I don't know.
Okay, well, you should watch it. Show the
I
kids,
know that I own it though.
And then every now and then face them at the window for reflections for certain scenes. Pro tip: learned it from my parents. Good stuff. All right, on to your 6.
All right, and just a quick note: April 28th, the top 5 movies we saw when we were too young. So be on the lookout for that, folks.
He had the producer in his ear. Very good.
It's a good one.
That was a fun one.
All right, number 6. What is my number 6? I don't know.
Number 6.
I'm excited. It's Terminator.
You really do just have all Schwarzenegger films on here, don't you?
Pretty close.
50% Arnold.
Oh man, so we get Arnold as a bad guy. We get Sean Bean as Hicks. No, not Hicks. That's the wrong movie. As Connor. What's his name? Michael Bean. Sean Bean. Oh my goodness. Charlie, you got to correct me when I say something stupid like that. Michael
I didn't know
Bean.
where you were going, man. I'm so confused.
Michael Bean.
I was just waiting for the plane to land so I could try to figure out what was going on.
I got the wrong actor and the wrong character. I'm pretty sure I've seen this movie.
So this was a lovely rom-com featuring a young Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh, Michael Bean is great in this movie. We got Linda Hamilton as the iconic Sarah Connor.
There you are. Hey, there we go. He's on it now, kids.
I can do it. No, this movie, it's this is the James Cameron. This is like, 80s James Cameron is that my favorite James Cameron? It might be. He did
this movie? Your favorite James Cameron?
No. I just mean
Terminator 2?
in the 80s for James Cameron. Like, is that when he was putting out my favorite James Cameron movies?
Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay.
No,
Kyle Reese, by the way, was the name of Michael Bean's character.
Reese. Thank you. I'm sure Tudong is yelling at his phone or whatever he watches this on.
Oh, my gosh. Oh, yeah. I mean,
bro, what are you doing? Bro!
He's angry at both of us probably right now.
So this movie's great. Lots of action. You got the Terminator, tracking them down and trying to kill them, and you got shootouts.
Yes, you do.
And people dying, and people getting shot, and people getting all sorts of stuff. It's great. Love it. Arnold is great. What else do you say?
Hey, well said.
So
I didn't put this one on my list.
I was going to say, this didn't make your list.
Look, I had other ones that I wanted to talk about, and if I'm being honest, I was like 100% certain it was going to make your list. So I was like, I could put it in, or I could try to get some of these other ones on there. Little did I know that we were going to have so much. I didn't realize we'd have so much James Carpenter in common. I should have trusted that. But yeah, this is a great movie, and it belongs in a top 10. If I was recommending top 10 80s movies, this would be it would be on my list, and it'd be very high. But
for sure.
Also, if I'm gonna watch a Terminator movie, I'm putting on T2. I'm not going back. The first one,
it's true.
It was good. It was good. I'm glad it exists, but
it's true.
It's certainly not one that I would rewatch as often.
Yeah, I think that T2 is the better of the two. But if I'm only limited to 80s, I'm gonna put this one on. So
I hear you.
There we go. All right, Charlie, you're number 6.
My number 6, and now I'm having a little case of Brody-itis. I don't remember what my number 6 is. Predator.
Okay, this is our fourth crossover.
Is this higher on yours?
This is higher on my list.
Okay.
So
we
will save our discussion.
Gonna be higher.
6, Charlie, 6. Holy smokes.
6. I got a tight top 5. I got a tight 5.
Whew. I can't wait to see it, man.
Nah, you're gonna disagree with all of them. Because apparently none of them made your list. So.
I think I might know what your number 1 is. I have a feeling.
Yeah. I guess one of them made your list. Yeah. All right.
Number 5, Total Recall. Oh, brother, I love talking about Total Recall. Let's talk about Total Recall because I love talking about. Let's end the list. Let's just talk about Total Recall the rest of the night.
Did Running Man make your list? I mean, what's up? How many Schwarzeneggers do you have?
I thought about Running Man.
Yeah, do split.
But then I was like, I can't have all the Schwarzenegger movies.
Oh my goodness.
But how do you not put Total Recall as an 80s action movie? This is like a near perfect 80s action movie. You got like the sci-fi, you got Arnold, you got shootouts, you got sci-fi stuff, you got bad guys turning into, good guys turning into bad guys, you got Mars, you've got mutants, you got all this stuff, you got people's eyes bulging out of their head because they're exposed to the atmosphere of Mars. Come on, man. What's not wonderful about this movie? Did this not make your list?
It didn't, and it didn't make my list for a very specific reason, and that's that it came out in 1990. So
Did it really?
that's why it wasn't on my list.
Oh
But
no, I blew it.
a passion and plea nonetheless. I mean, a fantastic film. You're absolutely right.
89. I thought it was 89. Oh no.
I had to look. I was like, I'm like 99.9% sure it was 90. I'm like, I better look this up before I stick my foot in my mouth. But yeah, 1990.
I didn't even bother looking at the date because I was just like, oh, it's Total Recall. You mean I get to talk about Total
Great movie,
Recall
though.
again?
This is your exception, and it was very passionate, and it was well said.
Okay, well,
go see if you haven't seen Total Recall. Go see it. Doesn't 1 year? We're splitting hairs here. Go ahead.
Stay tuned.
Give it a watch
for our top 10 '90s action movies, where this will appear
Yes.
again in the top 10 '90s.
No, then you got to put something from '89 in, bro. It's only fair.
Oh, okay.
You gotta, or keep the tradition alive on the other end and put a
I'll
2000.
just hit a 2000. There we go.
Yeah.
All right.
There we go.
Now I got it. Now I'm embarrassed. So we'll just move on to Charlie's top 5.
All righty. Right. My top 5 is a little movie I like to call Midnight Run.
I don't think I've ever seen this movie.
Oh, Brody! Oh no! This is so good.
I don't think I've ever seen it.
Okay. Well, first of all, I guess I'm acting surprised, and I'm not surprised. I had a feeling you hadn't seen it.
It doesn't have Schwarzenegger, does it?
It does. No, it does. Yeah. It has this guy though. You know this guy?
Yeah, that's De Niro.
Bobby De Niro.
I know
Bobby
Robert De Niro.
This guy.
Charles Grodin.
Charles Grodin.
From the Muppets.
No. Grodin. Not to be confused with Josh Groban.
What did I
Charles
say?
Grodin.
Did I say with a B?
Groban.
Oh.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. But
he's from the Muppets.
Charlie Grodin. Well, I don't know if he's from the Muppets, but he was in a Muppet film, yes, among other things. Like, for instance, this absolute classic gem, Midnight Run, which is probably my favorite of a very long-standing genre of opposites being paired together in a must-get-to-a-destination kind of play. This and Planes, Trains, and Automobiles might be my two favorite, like, odd couple. But for whatever reason, it's really hard to get from point A to point B.
It's a good one.
In this movie, it's more understandable because he is an accountant wanted by the mob, among other people that are trying to get him, and he is a bounty hunter. He's bringing him in, and it should be easy, but it's not. And there's comedy, and there's action, and there's a lot of De Niro being. This is his first, by the way, his first kind of real. I don't know if comedic role is the right way to say it, but his first real dip the toes into the comedy waters. And he was looking for a different project, and he found this one. And Charles Grodin, by the way, is hilarious. And just in general, the best part of So I Married an Axe Murderer. So if you ever get a chance
to... I Married an Axe Murderer. He was good in that.
He's great in everything he does. But so this is, look, I think this one, maybe of all the ones that are on my list, maybe not all of them, but this is one, I think it holds up pretty well. And there's stuff about it that certainly is going to feel dated. And there's stuff about it that's going to feel, all right, maybe a little cringe here, a little cringe there. But for the most part, I think it's worth a watch in 2021. And I don't know that I would say that about everything on my list, but I would say it about this. And Brody, I'm saying it specifically to you. You should watch this. This is one you don't, not with the kids, but with the wife. Sit down, enjoy it. A little popcorn. You'll thank me later.
Okay.
Midnight Run.
There we go. All right. Number 4. We are moving right along, Charlie.
I'm so excited for your number 4. I don't know what it is.
I hope it's from the 80s. All right.
I hope it's not.
Now, okay, so of our 4 crossovers, we've had 2?
We've talked about 2.
2 of our crossovers we've talked about.
2 of our crossovers.
Okay.
Yep. Is this one? Is number 4? No, it's not. Okay. Ooh, it's a good one.
So here's my other James Cameron, definitely from the 80s. I know this is from the 80s. So
yes,
now we've got the return
because you put the S on there. If you put Alien.
Yes. Well, I wouldn't call Alien an action movie though. I think Alien is a horror movie.
Yeah. Oh, I hear you. Yeah.
I think this one adds a ton more action. Hey, this time it's war. Come on now. So we got the the return of Michael Biehn. Now he's Hicks. Now it's Hicks.
But never is he Sean Bean.
He's never Sean Bean. That's a totally different guy.
Was there ever an actor who was in so many like good big budget movies that was so quickly forgotten by time as Michael Biehn? Because Terminator, Aliens, The Abyss. I mean, the guy was just in hit after hit.
Dude,
I'm sure he had a nice living, but
they're like, oof. I don't know. I haven't like read up on Michael Biehn and kind of what happened. I don't, maybe something happened. I don't know. I thought he was great. I think he's been in some stuff like here and there, but yeah, sure. It's weird. It's weird that he was in so many high profile praised movies and didn't turn out to be kind of a bigger star. He needs a role in a Marvel movie is what he needs. We need a Michael Biehn resurgence.
Okay. We're calling for it here.
Here we go.
We're going to pound the pavement.
We're going to start it
for Michael Biehn.
We're going to start it.
It was 1990s Navy SEALs with Charlie Sheen. He was fantastic in that as well.
I didn't see that one,
or at least as fantastic as one could be. He was in The Rock, which of course was a good movie.
It's a great movie. So, anyways, things Aliens. So Aliens taking place after Alien, the more horror on a spaceship. There's an alien chasing them, and then we go to a planet where now we got Marines with guns, Charlie. Guns. Now we're fighting back against the aliens, and it's awesome. It's awesome, man. We get the Queen. We get, like, the big old mech suit things that Ripley gets in. We got more aliens. It's not just one alien this time. We got all sorts of aliens. So many aliens.
Sorts of aliens.
They're just getting shot, and they can die, and they get blown up, and we got explosions, and we've got gunfights. It's awesome. Awesome. This Aliens might be my favorite of the Alien franchise.
Yeah, I think that's probably. I think it's probably a pretty widely held view. At least that's how I view it.
I mean, I've got a special place in my heart for the first one.
Yeah, I think that's probably where the real competition is, right? Did you like any of the like 3 and on? Like, did any of those find a way to leak into your?
No, although I've heard like discussions about 3 and how maybe that's worth kind of a relook. But
interesting. Well, any particular reason why people say that? Yeah, you don't have to.
I think there was like some interference with studio stuff, and who directed that one? Was that? I don't remember. It was somebody big. But that one, I wouldn't mind checking out that one again. But like Resurrection, I really didn't like Resurrection. That was, it was just so bad. And then, actually, you know what? I did enjoy Prometheus, and I haven't seen Alien Covenant. Okay, so on HBO, they've got every single Alien movie except Alien Covenant. And I'm like, that's the one I need to see. Can you just...
I know, it's always missing the one.
Can you just stream it for me so I can watch this movie? I don't want to buy it. Like, I just want to watch it. Let me watch it. So I haven't seen that one yet. But I liked Prometheus and loved this one. So... there you go. There's my number 4. This one.
So this is what Bean's been up to, by the way. Do you remember this? Do you remember this moment? Name the TV show.
I don't know. Oh, that's Mandalorian. He was in Mandalorian.
Yeah, he was in one episode of that.
He was. So I think I remember reading about that.
So hopefully, we've already done it. We already got him in the Mandalorian. Now we just got to get him into a Marvel movie. We're doing it. We're doing God's work here.
Well, and if he's in the Mandalorian, it means that he's kind of in that Disney,
right?
In the Disney atmosphere. It's just one little skip over to Marvel. Come on, who could Michael Biehn play in the Marvel universe? I don't know.
Who couldn't he play, Brody? Man, he's versatile.
I'm gonna think about that.
Anyway, we can save this for the Michael Biehn episode. Just our favorite Beans, Michael Biehn, Mr. Bean, Sean Bean.
There you go.
All sorts of good beans.
There you go. Now you didn't have Aliens on your list. I thought you had.
I didn't.
Didn't you say you had multiple James Camerons?
No, John Carpenter's. And then I just said I could do a whole top 10 80s.
Oh,
of
you
James
could
Cameron
do
and
one
John
on
Carpenter.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah, I love Aliens, and it is definitely like it has that action genre in there. And again, quality. This one I think holds up pretty well, and I would watch this, and it should be on my list. And I just wanted to talk about other things, so I left it off. I knew it would be on yours. I didn't see your list, but there was a couple that I'm like, I didn't put RoboCop on mine. I'm like, Brody's gonna talk about RoboCop. It probably belongs on my list, but I'm not gonna waste a slot with it.
Gotcha.
Little did I know. Four,
right.
man, 4. I was disappointed. Shooting for 2.
I know. Okay,
All right.
you're number 4, Charlie. Oh, okay.
Boom, you're dead. The greatest toilet scene in an action movie of all time. Hands down. Also, such classic lines as diplomatic community has just been revoked. Murta for the win. So, like Lethal Weapon 2, I put on my list, although first one was good too. This is, the chemistry between Donald Glover. Wait, no, Danny Glover.
Danny Glover.
I did it right the first time. Sean Bean! Pull the cord! Mr. Glover and Mr. Gibson. Nailed it. Who can remember back to the 80s, man? It's like talking about the 40s. All right, so anyway.
This was 40 years ago. Shoot, man.
Hey, who can remember this stuff? I can't remember this stuff. I thought this was like the difference between the first one and the second one. It starts without them. The first one starts with them like not trusting each other. It's a little bit more dramatic. We got the very suicidal Riggs. Yes. They're really leaning into that, and so you have to deal with the tension between the two of them. The second one, you just pick right up, and the chemistry is already there. So the action stuff's a little bit more over the top. We get this is one of my all-time favorite 80s scenes with the bomb in the toilet. I'm gonna die in the toilet, aren't I, Riggs? It's so good. And oh man, Danny Glover is hey, Predator 2, right? Danny Glover. The man's got versatility for days. This is back when people liked Mel Gibson, and he wasn't so crazy. So or turns out maybe he was a little bit more like his Murtaugh character or Riggs character. Oh gosh. Talking is hard, Brody.
I know.
I feel like I'm sitting on a toilet bomb.
I'm trying to remember all this stuff that I haven't seen in 20 years, 30 years, 40 years. These top 5 are things, these are movies that I've watched more recently and have seen, I think I forced my wife to watch some of the Lethal Weapons with me just because they're fun. Like Shane Black, Iron Man 3 fame, and Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, which is such a good movie. The Last Boy Scout. Yeah. He's funny, quippy dialogue. I like the way that he writes. And this is just a good buddy cop film, and I think probably the best of the buddy cop films. And there's been lots, but I think this is often duplicated, but never replicated. Did Amy like the movies?
Or the other way around. Often replicated, never duplicated. No.
Oh.
She doesn't really like bang-bangy.
Whenever you tell that story,
as she puts it.
Whenever you tell the little story of like, oh, I showed this to Amy, it's always followed by, and she hated it. So I'm waiting for the movie that she actually likes. So
she's very sweet, and she's always very, and she always, she pats me on the head, and she's like, that's nice, old man, that you used to like this movie. No, I'm like, look, he does the thing with a coin where he rolls it across his fingers. I learned that from this movie.
I always wanted to do that.
Like, no, you don't understand. And she, that's nice, dear. And she's like, no, I liked it. But she didn't like it. And that's okay. It's not for everybody. And certainly, certainly this is a genre that, not for all people. But I liked it. And I think it's probably my favorite of the buddy cop films. So yeah, what are you gonna do?
All right, number 3. I know my 1 and my 2. What is my number 3?
Is it this one?
Yes, I know what it is. It's Big Trouble in Little China.
Hey!
Hey!
All right.
Oh my goodness, this movie is so much fun.
It is a lot of fun.
Oh, we get another Kurt Russell. Kurt Russell was great in the 80s. Still great today, but was great in the 80s. Man, Jack Burton, what an awesome character. Just a cool guy. Hey, I almost put that picture behind you as my poster. And then I was like, it's a weird it's a weird one. If Charlie puts this on his list, he would use that poster. So
it's a good poster.
But yeah, you get action, you get the shootouts, you get like monsters and sorcerers, and I always loved the three guys with like the hats that would come down on like the lightning and the blades. Man, as a kid, those guys were the absolute coolest thing in the world. I loved that stuff. Yeah, I don't know what this was your number 7?
8, I think.
8. Okay.
And it could have been higher. It's very like these lists when we put them together are very flexible. Like there's a very loose sliding scale of where things could go. Like it ends with like a cliffhanger, and they never go back to it, Brody. They never go back to it.
It's true. It's true.
There's been rumors. My entire life has been rumors of a sequel to this movie. That's like I can segment my life into various rumors of it's coming. No, this time it's coming. And they're still talking about it, bro. They're still talking about it.
At this point, you can't do a sequel to this. What? The monster's been hanging out in his truck for 40 years? I mean,
it aged horribly. But it was an aging monster.
Yeah, it's just.
Anyway,
broke up a little bit there.
This one is held up. Oh, I did.
Yeah, a little bit.
Don't lie. Don't fib. I sound clean in here. The producer's telling me that I'm good to go.
Okay.
This movie, I think, is held up better than I expected it to.
Sure.
And if you've never seen it and you just look at like posters like this, it seems like a movie that you're gonna watch and you're gonna expect to like cringe a lot. Like maybe it's not racially sensitive and maybe it's like pretty offensive at this point. But actually, I think look, this is coming from my perspective, which take this for a literal grain of salt. But I think as far as like that goes, I think they do a pretty nice job considering the time that it was made of like really treating the culture with respect outside of the posters.
Sure.
But like, and like, you might hear like in cinema circles, people talking about like the white savior, like as just like a lot of these movies or the Blind Side or whatever, where, it's like, we need this like white hero to come in and rescue everybody. And really it's like the movie doesn't really do that at all. And like Wang Chi is
like stumbles through and shoots stuff. It's his buddy who's really like the smart one.
Yeah,
who
Wang
knows
is
what's
like
going on.
The real hero.
Yeah.
Yeah, and he's really like a sidekick. And I think they just do a really nice job of like kind of putting some of those elements like on their turning them on their head. I just like John Carpenter in general, and I think he just treats things pretty well with respect, maybe a little bit ahead of his time for the era that he was making movies. And I think it holds up pretty well. Some of the effects cheesy, absolutely.
Yeah.
Is it a little bit sexist in places, like the whole damsel in distress storyline? Sure, absolutely. Is he like got a big mouth and a big ego? Of course. Is he still charming because he's Kurt Russell? Yeah.
Heck yeah, man.
And watch it. Put it on, man. Give it a try. It's not a bad movie. Is this streaming anywhere? I don't feel like it's streaming.
I don't know. I'm not sure. It should be. It should be streaming everywhere.
Yeah, right to your local streaming services. Let's get this movie on there.
But this, and yes, this movie I think does hold up, but it is still like you can watch it and you're like, man, this is 80s. This is kind of the idea that I had when I was building this list of like, okay, what things can you watch that's from the 80s. This is like so 80s. And I love it, and it works, and it's not like in a bad way. It's in a good way of like, this is awesome 80s. So Yes. I love this one. It's my number 3. This holds up for me. I could watch this again. We could stop recording and I could go watch this and have a great time with this.
Nice.
All right, your number 3.
My number 3.
I thought about putting this on my list and didn't.
Well, that was a mistake by you, but
I knew you were going to put it on your list. I knew you were.
There you go. There you go. Who are you gonna call, bro? This is a very. You want to talk about movies that feel that define the '80s or feel '80s, man? This is it. Ghostbusters was like the quintessential '80s action flick. Yeah, sure. Are there some supernatural elements? Yeah, does it dabble a little bit with a little toe in the water of the sci-fi or the supernatural? Oh, yeah. But is there some comedy? Of course. It's got like 5 different genres you could put it in. But I wanted to get it in one of these top 10 lists. So, it's a great movie. You've heard us talk about Ghostbusters. I feel like this is one that's come up as like an honorable mention in a lot of lists, and just a movie that we both like. Have you watched anything about the new trailers? Are we going to do a reaction video to that? Or maybe we already have, and you should click on below to see our reaction to the new Ghostbusters trailer.
Don't make me edit stuff, Charlie. Come on. Yes. When more trailers come out, I don't think we've gotten a new trailer in like a couple months. In the past couple of months. So when a new one comes out, yes, let's do a reaction to it. Okay.
I gotta admit, like I had the toys. I think I tried to make my own proton pack with things around the house when I was a kid. Never found my own ghosts, but it was a very like, not just for me, but for a generation of people, a very imagination igniting film. A lot of video games, some great video games, some really bad video games, but some really great ones. Some mediocre sequels. I'm optimistic for the new one. But what did you think of Ghostbusters 2?
Still enjoyable, but also nowhere near the first.
Yeah. It's in this weird zone for me because I'm aware that it's a weaker movie than the first movie.
Yeah.
And depending on who I'm talking to and whether or not they love it or hate it, I might just take the opposite position. If that makes sense. Like, oh, you love Ghostbusters 2? Oh, that's weird. Okay, let's talk about that. Or, oh, the Ghostbusters 2 is stupid. And it's like, whoa. Still pretty good. So I feel like I could argue both sides of that pretty capably. And maybe that's just the duality that I feel when it comes to it.
Yeah, I'm kind of similar, I guess. I remember when it came out and watched, because like Ghostbusters was a movie that I watched a lot when I was a kid. Then Ghostbusters 2 came out and it was like, well, it's still Ghostbusters, but it's different, and I would rather watch the first one.
Yeah, that's fair.
And that was like me as a, I don't know how old I was when the second one came out, but young.
All right, fair enough. All right, Brody, top 2.
All right, and just quick update: Big Trouble in Little China is streaming on YouTube for free with ads. So go watch Big Trouble in Little China if you haven't seen it. I know it's got ads, but the movie is still so good.
Just buy the DVD or rent it. Just rent it. Come on. Oh no, wait, YouTube. Yeah, watch all the ads. YouTube here. We're YouTube friendly. What am I doing?
I don't know. If we could play,
they don't give us. They don't. What am I talking about? They don't give us any money. Don't watch their garbage. Go. Just rent the movie or buy it. It's worth it. They'll thank us later.
There you go. All right, here we go, man. This is like top of the list here, Charlie. Number two. Okay. Now my number 2. Talk about a lot. It's RoboCop.
Dun, dun, dun.
I don't need to spend a whole lot of time on this.
This wasn't your number 1? I'm shocked this wasn't number 1.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Is I was like, yes, this could very easily be my number 1. But because this is a movie that I feel like I talk about every single list, I want to be able to talk about my number one. And my number one is a movie that I love and I've watched a whole lot and and hasn't shown up on my list before. And so
I think I know what your number one is, and I think it's going to match my number two in a weird way. We'll see.
And so yes, I love RoboCop. RoboCop is one of my favorite movies of all time. I think my number one edges us out a little bit in the like this is an 80s movie type thing, and maybe that's why I came up with the this is an 80s movie type thing, just so that I could put another movie in front of RoboCop.
Gotcha.
But yeah, if you want to hear me talk about RoboCop, go click on any other top 10 and it'll be there.
Yeah,
it's great.
Any of our previous videos.
It holds up. I love it. It's ultra violent. I saw it when I was too young. It's in my top 10 personal favorite movies. Really, like any other episode.
Sci-fi.
Sci-fi. I'm talking about RoboCop. So I don't need to take up too much time on this one because I love it. I love it. There you go. You're number two, go. Charlie.
My number two, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And I wasn't sure if I wanted to put this or Raiders on my list. And I opted for this one. One of the few, like the odd number sequels here in terms of the Indiana Jones. Or I shouldn't say sequels. 1, 3. I'm hopeful for 5.
Sure.
2 and 4. Two has a special place in my heart because I saw it when I was a kid.
2's got its own place.
But 4 was so bad. 4 was so disappointing.
Did you know that 2 is actually a prequel to 1?
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, but that doesn't excuse it.
This is not on my list. Was very close though. Very close. Oh
man, you Indiana Jones.
This fell more into the adventure. And there was other movies that I wanted to put on.
Not enough. So there's not enough action for you. They're on blimps and fighting Nazis and shooting people down in planes and cracking whips and getting shot and melting with goblets, and there's not enough action for you, Brody. Are you kidding me?
Not compared to my
Indiana
number
Jones
one.
He's Mr. Action.
Not compared to my number one.
The man of action. We named the I gotta channel my. We named the dog Indy.
Named the dog Indy.
We named it Money Penny. I gotta dust off by Sean Connery.
God rest his soul.
God rest his soul. Man. It's such a... Sorry, but do you remember being a kid? Like, did you ever watch the Oscars when you were a kid? Like the Academy Awards?
Yes.
And they'd have those like in memoriams, and it's all like just pictures of people, and you don't know who any of them are, the older actors.
Yeah.
And my parents would be like, I'm like, oh. And now it's like every person is like, oh, Jessica Walter, no.
Sean Connery, no.
Sean Connery, no. It's just from now on, it's going to be just nothing but depressing names being called.
I know.
But this was, on a much happier note, this was a great movie.
It is a phenomenal movie.
It's a great action adventure film. Sure, there's a lot of adventure, but there's also plenty of action. I think it's my favorite Indiana Jones movie. I think it has a really nice blend of humor and action in it. And you don't need if you've never seen any of the Indiana Jones movies, watch 1, watch 3, and then you can decide what to do with 2 and 4. Just take my word for it. If you have seen them, then you don't need me to talk about them. You know they're great. This is not some unknown indie film here.
Yeah,
but it is an indie film, isn't it? It is fantastic. And I was going to bring out my whip as a prop, but I could not find it. So I will save that for the next time we discuss these fantastic films.
Yeah, no, this is a phenomenal movie, and yes, like in terms of quality, this really could very easily. Is this a better movie than Commando? Yes, for sure. Hands down, this is better than Commando and many other movies that are on my list. But yeah, I just, when it came to 80s action.
Man, I thought Raiders might be your number one. Now I've got no idea what's about to come. Show me this number one, Brody. Show me your number one.
You honestly, you should know my number one.
Oh, is it First Blood?
No,
Oh,
because it's the final crossover.
Is it? Is it another? Oh, it's Predator. Oh, that's right. I forgot we had one more crossover to talk about. Predator. That's right. Okay.
Oh man, Predator. Now this is a movie.
That's not the right poster.
That is not the right poster at all. Please,
is that it?
no. Take it away, Charlie. I don't like it.
Is that the one?
I don't like it. Take it. Oh gosh, I hate that Godzilla. Take it, please.
All right. I'm trying to find it. I'm trying to find my backgrounds.
I don't know what you're doing.
All right, there we go. Sorry, all my backgrounds got the order got reshuffled.
So the first Predator movie is like a phenomenal movie. Like, I love the first Predator movie. Didn't like the second one. Didn't like the Aliens first Predator.
You didn't like the second one?
No, I didn't.
Danny Glover.
I know, but I remember watching it as a kid, and I was like, "What do you mean Arnold Schwarzenegger's not in this?" Like, and I watched it, and I was like, "I didn't like that." Man, this is such great Arnold. We get Jesse the Body Ventura. We get all of these soldiers who are all unique. They all have their
Carl
own
Weathers,
special
baby.
little thing. You get like the manly handshake that's now become a meme between Carl Weathers and Arnold Schwarzenegger, where they're just like flexing, and it's amazing. And then you get the cool Predator, where Predator doesn't show up. He's just taking people out. And then after everybody else dies, you just have Arnold versus the Predator, and you get the mud scene. You just get Arnold like setting up booby traps against this thing. And I love this movie. To me,
You ever think about what a weird word booby trap is? It's weird.
It is kind of a weird.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah. To me, this is the ultimate 80s action movie. Like, for sure. This was, when I was making my list, it was between this and RoboCop there it is, right there. Right there. Charlie, move your head. Get that head out of the way. There it is, right there. The money shot. That's it, man. All right, you can come back. And so, yes, I've got this and I've got RoboCop, and yes, RoboCop ranks highly personally, but this to me is the ultimate 80s action movie. I am so excited to show my boys this movie. And I don't know when I can do it. I gotta run it by Amy first. And she's probably gonna say,
does Amy like this movie? Is she into the Predator?
I probably showed it to her when we were dating. I showed her a lot of movies when we were dating, and God bless her, she put up with it.
No. I just picture you. Oh, you haven't seen Predator? Oh, I envy you. You're in for a real treat. Let's watch this.
That's how a lot of conversations started. Yeah. But this is oh my goodness, it's so good, Charlie. And this is a movie that holds up. This movie is still so fun. Yes, the special effects aren't mind blowing. But still the whole thing of the Predator just taking these people out, and then Arnold coming in, and Arnold being the one to get rid of this thing. I love it. I love this movie, Charlie. This was lower on your list. I was shocked that it was that low. Why?
It was 6. I mean, come on. It was it was still almost in the top 5. It's a great movie. All the reasons you said. I don't disagree with any of them.
Okay.
It's a nice setup, like that. Getting plucked off one at a time, I think, is always builds the suspense, and kind of the action stuff is certainly top notch. I just watched a parody of this, Bob's Burger season 11. They have an episode where they do where they're anyway. You don't need me to recap the whole story, but Bob is the Predator, and then he's getting fought. He's the Breadator, excuse me. He's made out of bread, and then there's butter covering instead of mud for it to be invisible. But it's very funny. Let me some Bob's Burger. it is a quintessential 80s action film.
The 80s action film.
It is not like as near and dear to my heart. It is a great popcorn flick, and that is.
I love it.
All right, on to my number one, which you also hated.
Okay.
So I was certainly higher on your number one.
It was on my list, Charlie.
Oh, like number 10 or some garbage.
I knew
some
it was going to be your number one.
Are you kidding me? This is the best action.
It was 9. It was number 9.
This might be like top 5 action movies all time. All time.
It's possible.
And
yeah,
if you put this on,
it could have been.
You put this on your Christmas list. Get this out of here.
It's a Christmas movie, Charlie. The theme to the movie is Christmas music.
It's not the theme. It's the intro. It's a different dynamic.
They play Christmas music through the whole.
Yes,
movie.
It happens to take place at Christmas. They released the movie in July.
That doesn't
matter. They're not releasing the Santa Claus 3 in July.
They released it in July so that it can come out on the video for Christmas.
If you'd like to hear our Die Hard Christmas movie or not argument, click below. Find our Brody will add some links. I'm going to make you work for this.
I got it.
Add a link for our Christmas movie top 10. Not a Christmas movie, but anyway, great, fantastic film. This one, look. Not only do I think it is really I think it's a very enjoyable movie.
Should have been higher.
But for me personally, this on my list, this might be the movie that I've seen the most amount of times because I would just watch this like on repeat as a kid. I would watch it and I'd watch it again. I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I probably watched it too young, but and then I kept watching it, Brody. And then there's sequels would come out and I'd be like, and it was kind of like how you're talking about Ghostbusters 2. I watched Die Hard 2 and I'd be like, not as good as Die Hard 1. I'm putting Die Hard 1 back in. Very quotable movie. I'll spare the quotes, some of the quotes right now. But Bruce Willis, I love me some Moonlighting. I love me some transition nicely into the Die Hard. He's had some missteps along the way, but give me Alan Rickman.
Phenomenal.
Well, I think this is Alan Rickman. Is that Alan Rickman? I mean, I guess it's supposed to be.
I think so.
In his most iconic role, you can eat it, Professor Snape. Get out of here with that. It'll always be Hans Gruber to me. And look, this has been parodied in so many things. And like the taped gun to the back has been used in television shows a countless number of times as a comedic gag. This has been a movie that has been often replicated but never duplicated.
There you go. I nailed it.
Is it? Yeah. That formula has never quite worked the same as it did in this first one. And just a great like all these anti-hero TV shows and movies that kind of came after this. This was, I think, the one that did it the best, where he's just kind of like this down on his luck, kind of schlub, who finds greatness within his, within himself. He's not like your classic coming out of these like Schwarzenegger style heroes that are bigger than life, almost like superhero movies before superhero movies. You have all, and it coming out of the Westerns where you have like the white hats and the black hats and, very clearly defined good guy, bad guy, and these archetypes. And then I'm not saying this is the first movie to have like the anti-hero, but I think really popularized and Hollywood is always like, oh, we can make money on this. Oh, let's do more of this. So we've seen this a lot since, but come on, Die Hard, so good.
It is.
Shame
good.
on you.
It is.
Shame on you, number 9.
Yeah.
Shame.
No.
Shame him in the comments. Shame him.
It
probably
should have been higher. It probably should have been higher. No, it is. It's a great movie. It's a great Christmas movie. I love watching it during Christmas time. I'm just giving you a hard time, Charlie.
No, hey, I'm not even gonna argue with you. It's fine. You can. I want people to hear my arguments by clicking on another episode.
So yeah, it's great, and it was a different movie for the time. In a time where it was Arnold Schwarzenegger, and it was Sylvester Stallone, and it was not a whole lot of Stallone on either of our lists.
No Stallone on either of our lists.
Interesting.
But he didn't have a lot because Rocky was like sports drama.
Yeah.
Like I wouldn't consider that to be like, and those weren't action movies. The Rambo sequels were like, I don't know. I wasn't into the Rambo sequels.
And even the first one,
was good.
But I don't even know. Like I I had it on like the short.
That was
list.
in the 70s, by the way. I think.
Was
no,
it?
it was 82. 82. No, 82. 82.
But like
Right?
you
I'll
watch
look it up.
you watch it
82,
now,
I think.
and it almost borders on like drama. It's
Oh,
not
yeah,
a quick movie.
For sure.
It's not full of action. It's like just one guy just trying to survive.
Yeah, 82. 82.
And so yeah, it didn't quite make it. As they went on, they became more action focused, but the first one really isn't.
Yeah.
It's yeah.
Yeah, I didn't like Over the Top. I didn't like. I mean, Cobra's fine, but Cobra does not hold up for me outside of the greatest line delivery of all time by Robert De Niro.
Yeah. But yeah, so in a time where it's the Schwarzeneggers,
really
it's the Stallones, it's the Jean-Claude Van Damme's, like
yeah.
Bruce Willis,
we can do some.
Bruce Willis, not a big guy, not super ripped and jacked.
They're very generous in the art here on the biceps, right? And the tendons popping out.
Yeah, and so it was unique. You've got him like essentially like almost running away from the bad guys for most of the movie, and then he kind of pops up and like kills some people and then kind of disappears into the vents again, and so yeah, but it's a great movie. I do really enjoy this movie. Probably could have been higher, but it's just that's where it fell. That's where it fell.
All right, you got some honorable mentions? What we want to do some honorables?
I do. Let's let me move my screens here so that I can.
Hey. Get you.
Where is it? I gotta find my list. Where'd my list go?
Well, Brody's finding some of his. I could just talk about some of mine.
Yeah.
Or did you just find it? Did you find it?
I did. I found it. So I had like the Running Man. Running Man was potential, but I was like, I've got a lot of Schwarzenegger. And really like the Schwarzeneggers that I have are really like.
Did you have 5?
Terminator, Predator, Commando, Conan,
and then Total Recall.
Total Recall. Yeah. Oh my gosh, half my list was Schwarzenegger.
Yeah.
So I couldn't put them all, and so Running Man fell off. Rambo actually was on the short list, but because I kind of. You watch it now and it is kind of more like war drama almost. This guy just suffering from PTSD,
Yeah.
Lethal Weapon I did have on my short list. Superman 2 I had on the short list. Indiana Jones.
I am shocked. I'm shocked that you didn't have Batman on your list.
Batman on the short list. Batman 89 on the short list.
How did that not make your top 10?
It was there. I don't know.
You call yourself a fan? You know what? You don't deserve that background anymore. I'm taking it back.
So when I think of 80s action movies, though, like Batman 89 isn't the first thing that comes to it. If it was like superhero movies, or I don't know, something like that. Action 80s action movie it doesn't come to mind. It's on my short list. It's probably number 11. And then I also had Highlander.
Very disappointing you for not putting Batman on your list.
Oh, I thought I thought you were gonna say because Highlander wasn't on my list.
Oh no, Highlander's good. You're gonna have to get that tattoo on your arm scrubbed off. I can no longer allow you to call yourself a Batman fan, but that's okay.
You can go watch the top 10 personal favorites where you can see where Batman lands on my personal favorites of all time.
Yeah, and then you can ask yourself, did Commando make his personal list of top 10? And they're both 80s action movies. Brody over here would rather put a movie from 1990 on his list than include Batman.
Oh my goodness. Anyway. Fine. Total Recall's off and Batman is number 10.
It's too late. All right, so some honorable mentions for me. The Terminator, Aliens, obviously all that stuff that we talked about. They Live, things that we had mentioned. I thought Romancing the Stone was.
I thought about Romancing the Stone.
A nice action adventure that I almost, it was on my list for a while, and then I just I was like, I'll take it off. But I wanted to mention that one. I thought it was a lot of fun. A little kind of like Indiana Jones light.
Sure.
But gosh, I was reading about the sequel. Like the woman who wrote the first screenplay was given a Porsche by Michael Douglas, and then her boyfriend was driving, and they crashed, and she died like a year and a half after the movie was made.
What, really?
And when they were and when they were filming the second one, there was like a plane crash with like 6 crew members, and they all died. And there was like an outbreak of like herpes or something, and then they couldn't film, or hepatitis.
Oh my goodness.
No, hepatitis, not herpes. It was like crazy. And the sequel, it was like an interview with Michael Douglas about the sequel and why maybe it wasn't as good as the first one.
Yeah.
A lot of anyway. So a cursed film, and by the way, a film that they thought was so bad that Bruckheimer, I think it was who was doing it, was fired from directing Cocoon after screenings of Romancing the Stone, because they thought the movie was going to be such a flop.
Romancing the Stone or the second one?
Romancing the Stone, the first one. They thought the studio thought the first one was going to be such a
really?
failure. They fired him from directing Cocoon. It turned out pretty good.
Yeah, it's a fun movie.
That is a fun movie. I like that one. Bloodsport is not a good movie, but I love that when I was a kid. That Kumite.
It's fun.
It's a fun movie.
Based on a true story.
It's not you can read about the true story part of that, because the guy that it was based on was pretty full of crap, and so I think a lot of that has been debunked. But it's still a fun movie. The Muscles from Brussels.
I was trying to get a Van Damme.
Vehicle.
I was trying to get Jean-Claude.
Fun fact about my list: the only actor to appear twice is Kurt Russell.
Well deserved.
So I tried to spread out my thing. Top Gun almost made my list, and then I was kind of revisiting that in my head. I liked that one a lot when I was a kid. One of the best volleyball scenes in a film ever. Far better. We've talked about volleyball scenes on this before, and how much I hate the Office volleyball scene, and how a lot of times they cut from someone going like, and then the ball's like coming down like at a dramatically spiked angle, or whether it's Saved by the Bell volleyball scenes or The Office. But hey, they did a pretty nice job here in the Top Gun. But the whole thing was like a naval recruitment movie.
It was...
recruiting for the Navy was up 500% after that movie came out.
Really?
And there were even scenes cut from the film because the Navy didn't want people to think that the Navy was a dangerous place to work. So there's like a scene where someone died on the carrier when a plane was landing, and they weren't allowed to have that in the movie because it was basically a recruitment tool.
So Amy and I watched that movie just within the past year because I knew that the new one was coming out. It's pretty slow. It's like I don't even know if I could call it an action movie.
Well, I mean, it's fighter pilots shooting missiles and stuff.
For like 2 scenes, man. It is.
What would you call it? It's not a comedy. It's not a drama. I mean,
if almost closer to a drama than an action movie, though.
Not a drama. Come on.
That's an action movie. It's a romance.
Man, come on. You got some slow movies.
When was the last time you watched that movie, Charlie?
Look, I haven't seen it in a long time, and I'm not arguing. I don't think it's a good movie, but I mean, it's an action movie. Not all action movies are like 3 gunshots a second. I mean, Escape from New York is a slow-moving action film with long sequences of dialogue.
Go watch Top Gun.
Monologues by people. No, I don't want to watch it. It didn't even make my top 10.
The sequel's coming out, Charlie. You got to prep yourself for the sequel.
I have no interest in the sequel.
What?
But I wanted to get a Tommy Boy on my list, but I couldn't.
Oh.
Although technically he did have a cameo in Young Guns. Him and Bon Jovi.
Uncredited.
Uncredited. So there you go. A little trivia for you. And Emilio Estevez appeared in the movie as 2 different characters. So he was in the final shootout. He was one of the bad guys. This way, so. Anyways, lots of fun movies that could have made the list, but what are you gonna do?
Yeah, this was a fun list to make. It's just fun to like look at all this stuff that I first saw when I was a kid and what has kind of stuck with me and what it's fun to think back of being that like a 10-year-old, and looking at these and watching Commando and watching Big Trouble in Little China and things like that. That, some of them you see on like TBS Sunday Morning, or whatever, the edited for time and content, and then you get it from the video store, and you're like, whoa, like they're actually like blowing people up,
Yeah.
But just I have such fond memories of all of these movies, and that's
Was it
really
Yippee Ki Mother Fudgers? What was the TV edit on that line? Because
I don't
whatever
know.
it was bad.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm sure it was good. So whatever it was. So, Charlie,
Yeah.
you have any final thoughts on any of this, Charlie?
Look, I would love to hear from you, the viewer, if you have some favorite movies that maybe we didn't touch on, or maybe we did touch on and you liked it. I am also looking up the line. It is Mother Gunshot, so they just cut it off with a gunshot.
Oh, just
Yippee-ki-yay,
yippee-ki-yay.
Mother, and then gunshot. So,
Gotta love those TV edits.
Please let us know below how disappointed you are in Brody for his choices, his life choices.
What?
And let us know if you ever used fruit as a gun in your imagination playtime. I imagine that I'm not the only one who had a bunk bed for one. Let us know.
I had a bunk bed for one.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh, how is it that you had a bunk bed for one and I had a bunk bed for one, and then when we lived together, we didn't have a bunk bed?
I don't know.
For two.
We
we
wanted a bunk bed. We wanted bunk beds.
All right. One day, Brody, we're gonna move in together again, and we'll have all the bunk beds.
There we go.
Would...
Sounds good, man.
Well, thank you so much for watching and tuning in. We had a blast. Hope you guys had some fun. Make sure you check out an array of Talk Punch videos that are available for your viewing pleasure, and let us know if you have any requests. Maybe you want to see an Arnold Schwarzenegger only list, or top 10 one-liners from 80s action films, or any action
films a good one.
At all. Like featuring the chopper, or you had the split, or go ahead, I don't shop here, or whatever your favorite one-liner is. There's just an infinite number of glorious ones to choose from. So
for sure,
thanks for spending this time with us. We'll see you next time. Talk Punch.
Bye.